I'm mad that he's up there and I didn't win the Rizzler Cup. Do you know how upset I am? I made that trophy and I haven't won it yet. Okay, let me down in the comments below if you think I should have gotten it.
You are now watching the Ball and Beats podcast.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back here to another episode of the Ball and Beats podcast. I'm joined today alongside me, Spencer and Cameron, coming back on. How are we doing today, boys?
Doing great. It's a great day.
It is a great day. Cam, how about you, man?
Sports world is gloomy for me, but you know what?
Why is it gloomy?
Why is it gloomy?
Duke, Yankees, Florida State. It's just all kind of
NFL draft's coming up, though. You got the Chargers.
Chargers. We lost to the Texans. Houston, man. It's been Houston this year for me.
It really has been Houston, hasn't it?
But we're great.
You are.
Besides that.
Yeah.
So the Rockets are going to knock out the Nuggets.
That's
Yeah.
what we're hearing. Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah.
That's what we're hearing. So, we got a lot to dive in today. We have NFL prospects, again, overrated, underrated, properly rated, coming up. We have a different trivia today.
Mm-hmm.
We hear in the works,
Yep.
maybe, towards the end of this episode. But let's dive into the mind of Cameron Fonstock here. Cam, the floor is yours for the time being. Duke in the Final Four against Houston.
Yet again.
Here we go. Cam, we'll give you about good 5
I don't
minutes.
have much to say.
We have a good floor.
I don't have much to say. We lost. That was the game. We'll be back next year. 4 or 5 stars.
Why'd you lose?
You watched the game. That's all I'm saying. You watched the game?
You don't got nothing to say?
Nope.
Why'd they choke the lead away? What happened?
You watched the game. That's all I got to say.
Cam's already said enough probably before coming on here about
yeah,
this. That
it's been a rough week. Been bullied.
Yeah.
So we'll let it lie.
Yeah,
We'll let it lie.
We won't bully over
You
here.
guys can talk what you want, but I got to let it lie over here.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, really, what I want to talk about more is the actual national championship game itself.
Yeah.
Because
Great
here's
game.
the thing. We can make the arguments about Duke and what happened in that Houston game, but the same thing happened to that team in the national championship
Houston.
against Florida. Houston did the same thing that happened to Duke. So it's pretty much a story of 2 different games for Houston.
Yep.
Yep.
And Emmanuel Sharp, man, I feel for him. Yikes. The way he ended that championship game with the ball out of bounds off his leg, and then the final, seconds there. Just, you have to shoot in that moment, right, Spencer?
Yeah, you have to shoot the ball. And I know he didn't get a great shot off, and he kind of just threw the ball back down because it would have been, a travel if he didn't. But at the same time, it's just shoot the ball, make a play. And they were holding on to that ball until the waning seconds. So they wanted the last shot. They just didn't get the shot that they wanted. And at the end of the day, I mean, Florida, man, what a turnaround Todd Golden has done in that program. 3 years ago, they were not good. First year under Golden, they were around 500. Last year, they made the tournament. And then this year, what a run from Walter Clayton Jr. and Will Richard and that entire team, man. I mean, he's turned around Florida in a quick 3 years. And, shout out the Gators, man. Shout out Christian Demo's Gators. He was on Twitter advocating about those Gators. And they ended up getting it done, and I feel terrible for Houston. This was Kelvin Sampson's probably best shot to win a national championship. He's 69, and this team had everything, man. They were great defensively, and they'll probably be back. But at the same time, it's will they have this good of a team? Will they have the same team? Will they get over the hump? Who knows?
It felt like this was the time for him.
Yeah, maybe this was probably the time for them because there will be better teams out there in the next few years. Duke's going to reload. Teams are going to reload because they don't like losing. And I feel terrible for, Cryer. Cryer had a heck of a game, and people forget that, Walter Clayton Jr. did absolutely nothing in the first half of that national championship and then just turned it on when he needed to. This might be like in a long time, like one of the clutchest players I've seen in college basketball in a while. He makes every shot you need him to make. He doesn't miss free throws. He makes clutch threes. You've seen it against UConn in the round of 32. And this Florida team has come back from multiple double-digit leads, and they just never quit, man. And the Gators, they deserved it. Houston choked it away, just like their counterpart in Duke in the Final Four. And in the end of the day, Florida's your national champions. They deserve it.
Yeah, I think when it comes down to Florida and Walter Clayton Jr., I don't care what anyone says about Clayton. Yeah, he may be on the older side now, but he's a first-round pick in this draft coming up. He has to be. I think a lot of guys across the country who are a little bit older should get drafted in the first round. They've proved it, the way they play. And this Florida team, I mean, the comeback there at the end, they were resilient. They've been resilient all year, and the fact that they pulled that off there at the end of this game, I mean, it just goes to show how Florida's been all season long. But really for Houston, I feel so much for Kelvin Sampson because I think he's one of the best. I think he's a top 5 coach in college basketball right now. And the fact that he finally got to a national championship, he got to this moment, it just goes to show, things can change in a matter of moments. And it went from them having the lead the majority of the game, double-digit lead, 14 points at one point, to giving it up there in the final moments. 4 possessions in the final 90 seconds for Houston, not even a shot attempt.
It's tragic. New Paddock. We could have won it all.
You look so defeated, dude.
So, yeah.
Do you want to talk about Duke at all?
It's a rough topic. Really
They'll be
is.
back. John Schraer's a hell of a coach. They're going to be back. They're going to have great recruits like always.
You've got the Boozer twins coming in.
You got the Boozer twins coming in. It's not like Duke's going anywhere. You're going to still have opportunities.
But hey, Cooper Flagg might stay, right?
Cooper Flagg is not staying.
He's not staying?
There's no way. They got to offer him like a $10 million NIL
got
package.
that.
Yeah,
We
they're
ain't
not.
got
They're
that.
not doing all that.
We're not Robert Wright with BYU getting offered $4.5 million as a role player. Nope. Can't do that. It's tough. But shout out Florida. Good win for them. Sampson's going to reload, and they're going to be just as good as they are now. So 2 all McDonald's All-Americans coming, so they'll be straight.
We'll see. It was a hell of a Final Four, though. I tell you that.
It was.
All 3 games were like
down to the
great
wire,
games.
pretty much for the most part.
Especially that national championship game was such a fun last 5 minutes.
Yeah.
It was such a fun game to watch. And I know with Duke losing, that was tough, but that was a really, really good last 10 minutes of basketball.
Oh, yeah.
Especially the last 5 minutes. And the last minute of basketball was unbelievable to see Houston come back from a 6-point lead in under a minute.
Yeah, I mean, they had that, but really when it comes to Duke, there in the final 10 minutes, they just couldn't make a shot.
They only made one.
Yeah, they could not hit their shots. They just kind of lost their groove at the end, and Houston felt it. So I think that's just really what it comes down to is just momentum swings. We've seen that. Look at Florida against Auburn. They were down double digits against Auburn at one point in that game and came back. So both games they had to come back in each of them. And they were just the most resilient team this year in the tournament. And the Final Four was one of the best Final Fours we've seen in a long time.
Yes.
Simply because we had the best teams get there. And it was that elite all the way around. And, we love the stories, the Cinderella stories of March Madness, but we got to see the best on the court.
Yep.
And the thing is, we always look at the NBA nowadays, and it's always, at least when it comes to the draft, you see it's always the freshmen that always get picked early. You get, right now, if you look at mock drafts, 9 of the top 10 players are freshmen or from overseas. So, and you watch college basketball, and it's always the best teams that end up getting there. The teams with the most chemistry, the teams that have that experience.
The teams that just aren't led by all freshmen.
Exactly. They have the experience. We have the great Dylan Harpers, the Ace Baileys, Cooper Flagg, of course, coming out in this draft class. Probably the top
Derek
3
Queen.
picks, more than likely. Derek Queen as well. He'll be probably top 10 now at this point. But look at Florida. Look at Houston. Look at Auburn. All of these teams, all older than some NBA rosters, so I think people kind of sleep on these guys in college basketball that stuck around for longer. You've seen guys in the past who have been juniors or seniors, like a Keegan Murray from Iowa. He wasn't a freshman out of Iowa. He got picked in the top 5. So there's examples of it happening now, but I think people forget sometimes development, it happens in college before it gets to the pros, So that's the thing with the NBA side is you get into year like 7 or year 8 when you're really hitting your stride for some of these guys where they could have developed in the collegiate level. And I think with NIL and with the transfer portal, now I think some of the best guys will stay in college a little bit longer. Yeah, Cooper Flag more than likely not, but which he said he could have.
No,
he
he's
said
not.
could.
No.
Because he's gonna be the consensus number 1 pick in the draft.
Yes.
And, the Wizards, and I've been
The
losing
Jazz.
for him. The Jazz, the Hornets. Shout out the Hornets. Yeah. Great shirt, by the way.
That's
It's a great
shirt.
logo. Too bad they're
They suck.
terrible every
Yeah,
single
19
year.
wins.
I told you they're just an AAU basketball team.
I can't remember the last
were right.
it's like the Hornets every year they're just terrible. And they have talent. I mean, they have solid
have
young
guys,
pieces, but
yeah.
they have
They're not a team.
nothing to show for it. But yeah, it's the fact that the best players in college basketball, obviously Cooper Flag, but Johnny Broome went to Morehead State before he went to Auburn. You had Walter Clayton Jr. go to Iona under Rick Pitino for 2 years before he went to Florida. All these guys are going to the transfer portal, getting better opportunities, and further developing their game. And I feel like that's going to be the way for most guys, unless you are that one-of-one player, like a Cooper Flag. Or, Derek Queen had a hell of a tournament.
Mm-hmm.
He had a really underrated tournament.
A Brooklyn net.
And look at look what happens when you just get star players with no talent. Look at Rutgers. Rutgers had 2 top 3 picks.
Yeah.
They didn't even come close to the tournament.
Yep.
That's all they had.
That's all they had. They just had Dylan Harper and the Bailey
Ace
kid.
Bailey.
Ace
Yeah.
Bailey, yeah. It's what happens when you just go after star talent, but you have nothing else. You need depth and you need other pieces. You can't just be running out a team of freshmen. That's what Calipari did his last few years at Kentucky. They got outed in the first round or second round every single year.
But Arkansas
Arkansas was nice, but they had veteran
they
players.
almost had it.
Yeah.
They almost got to the Elite Eight. I thought they were going to.
He bounced back.
He did.
He bounced back.
He did bounce back. And Arkansas, that's a program that's historically actually a slept-on
Yeah.
program. They've
yep.
made a few Final Fours. They've won national championships before. So Calipari, he's gonna keep things going down there. in
NIL
Fayetteville.
fund's gonna go wild with
Yep.
Tyson chicken nuggets and all that down
Oh,
there.
yeah.
Man, they go crazy. I think they had 12.5 million in NIL evaluations. Number 1. Crazy.
It'll keep being more with Calipari.
Right.
With Calipari.
Yep.
Yeah. So,
Duke.
anything
man.
else about Duke?
Anything else? Final words about the Duke Blue Devils.
Tyrese Proctor, go to the NBA. Please. You were great. Time to pack the bags and
Or is it time to transfer to RCU?
I don't know. You saw what happened to Jeremy Roach. He left. Straight belt. I'm glad of what we did. I'll go on my rant now. I'm glad what we did. One game cannot define this season. One of the best teams I've ever seen as I would say 11-year, 13-year Duke Blue Devil fan. This loss doesn't hurt quite as bad as South Carolina, but with Jason Tatum, Luke Kennard, Frank Jackson, that squad was nice. But besides the point, this squad was special. We had the game. That's what really makes me mad. We had it. We lost it. Tyrese Proctor shooting 50% from the free throw line as a combo guard.
Can't have it.
Go put fries in the bag or something.
Yeah, he's got to transfer to RCU, Raising Cane's University.
Yeah.
Somewhere. But Cooper Flag, where do I begin? I think you broke all expectations as a Duke fan. You won Player of the Year, ACC Player of the Year. I don't even know what else you could have done. I hope you stay. If not, it's whatever.
Congrats.
Do what you got to do.
Congrats. He won Player of the Year in the Farmers League.
Yeah. But
Good old ACC.
Knipple, man, Houston, that game should have been yours, pal. If you hear this, that ball should have been yours. Shire, we'll get to you in a minute. But the ball should have been yours. I don't think anyone could hold you on that court, personally. Kalan, go to the NBA, do what you got to do. You were great while it lasted. Isaiah Evans, please stay. Been offered a bag by Louisville, $4.5 million also by Isaiah Evans and stuff. This money deal is nuts. Hope he stays, bucket getter for next year. But John Shire, you're the reason we lost. We can't inbound a ball, which is something that you probably didn't practice, and you can't draw up. I think I would have done better in the nice little quarter zip you had and calling that play there. But we lost. I'm a little salty still. I think it sat in a little more, but what a squad.
Mm-hmm.
What a squad. You know, this is a good spot in the show to just take a little sip of this B&B water.
Should have got some.
You know, you guys out there, you should subscribe.
Yep.
You should like this. You should share this to
Down
your
below.
friends. You know, hit that push notification bell. Stay up to date. Got some fun coming up here in the next couple weeks for you all.
Yep.
You know, stay tuned.
Some stuff to look forward to.
Stay tuned for some announcements here coming up here.
That's right.
Got some fun in store for you. We're going to pivot back to the NFL and the prospects, diving into overrated, underrated, properly rated NFL prospects here for the draft coming up in 2 weeks.
Already?
You know, already.
It's coming up.
It's my favorite
quick.
time of year. As you see, I have the Browns draft hat on. I have to get it every year. I
gotta wait. I gotta wait all the way till pick like 28.
You know, who knows? Maybe Cleveland will trade back to 28 with the Lions. Who knows? We'll see. But, you know, continuing in, we were on the offensive side last week. We're going to dive into the defensive side of the ball this week. We're going to start off with the entire defensive line. That includes edges and defensive tackles. We'll start with you, Spencer. Overrated, underrated, properly rated James Pierce Jr., the Tennessee edge.
He's such a wild card, man. He's got character issues. Obviously, like Tennessee's out there. This dude screams to me like a Philadelphia Eagle. Like, you know, go into like, you know, a locker room to where you can't F around and just go to work, kind of like what they did with Jalen Carter. Mm-hmm. And like Jalen Carter turned out to be a superstar, and I think Pierce, you can watch out for him in the later rounds. I could also see him going in the top, you know, 15 maybe, like at like 15 or 14. I think he's properly rated though, because I can't really say over or under, because I could see him going as high as 15 or as low as like 32 to the Eagles.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the season he had this past year for Tennessee, it wasn't great.
No.
He didn't have the production that he had the previous year.
No.
And he was a consensus number 1 overall prospect coming into this draft class. And now Abdul Carter's taken over that spot.
Yep.
You know, so James Pierce Jr., I think because of his hype and what he can do and what people believe he can be, I think he could still go higher in this class.
I do
I could
too.
see him as a top 12 pick
I could
randomly.
see him being the best edge out of this draft. It's just like, you know, he does have character issues. There's been stuff to where like he doesn't practice as hard, or he doesn't show up to film.
Yeah.
But this was at Tennessee. When you go to the NFL, it's a completely different animal, and depending on the organization he goes to, they're not going to mess around with that stuff. And he could end up being one of the best edges in this class, I believe, because he still has the talent. He just has to utilize that and hone his talent as well.
Cam, how do you feel about these defensive linemen? Because I got some for you. Overrated, underrated, properly rated. We'll go with Kenneth Grant, the Michigan D tackle.
I like him. Big guy that can move. With all the D tackles, that's what you want. Plus a Michigan guy. I feel like they're very disciplined. They don't get a lot of flags. So, you know, Chargers 22.
Maybe we'll see.
Might be a potential, or, you know, get a Will Johnson back with the gang.
We'll dive into
Colson
the corners
Loveland.
later on.
I mean, maybe.
So which one? Overly rated, properly
For James Pierce or for
Kenneth Grant? Overrated, properly rated, underrated.
I think he's properly. I think he's like late first, maybe early second if he falls. With his size and speed, he did great in the combine, right? Had a good combine.
He did.
Yeah.
You know, I think the thing is with Kenneth Grant, I think people overlook him because of Mason Graham.
Right.
On Michigan, and kind of forget about his own impact with Kenneth Grant. I think talent-wise, he could be the second or third best defensive tackle in this class. I think he could go. I think his ceiling is probably 13 or 14 range,
Okay.
right there around Miami or Indianapolis. I'm not saying they would pick him, but that range, I feel like he could be that high. But he's more than likely going to be in the 20s.
Yes.
Early or late teens to mid 20s, I think, is where you could see Kenneth Grant go in this draft. We're going to move on to our next player, Spencer, overrated, underrated, properly rated. Shamar Stewart, the Texas A&M edge rusher.
You know, I like him more than I like Scourton. I like him. Of the both of the Texas A&M edge rushers, he's a really big, powerful dude. I really like his ability to move off the offensive lineman. He's really quick and versatile.
Yeah.
He just has issues of being a one-trick pony. He's a power guy, but sometimes when you're a power guy and you go into another wall that's right across from you, you can't get past him.
Yeah.
That was his biggest issue. But I think with the right coaching, he'll be fine. So I think he's a little. No, he's properly rated. I'll take that back. He's properly rated.
Thing is with Shamar Stewart, production-wise, he's only had 3 career sacks.
Yeah.
He kind of reminds us of a Tyree Wilson a couple years out of Texas Tech or a Rashawn Gary from Michigan.
Big power guy. Yep.
Power guy, has the traits, high-end prospect.
Has the talent. It's just not the production.
So this is a guy who we've talked about on the podcast multiple times that he could go pretty high. It just depends on how teams feel.
There's so many edges in this draft. Obviously, Abdul Carter is going to be the first pick. Whoever is second is going to dictate the edges that are left in the draft. Because I could see Michael Williams of Georgia. I could see Scourton. Maybe you see Pierce. Maybe there's a team that really likes Pierce that much in the early teens, or that likes him a lot. It's such a deep edge rusher draft that's what I'm most forward looking to. I should say in the first round.
Because Shamar Stewart, I feel like he could go as high as 8 to Carolina, but he could also go as low as a team like the Rams at 26.
Yeah.
It just depends on how this board falls this year. I think it's so unique how this class is. I feel like there's legitimately 50 to 55 guys who could be first-round picks.
Yes, this is a very deep draft.
I think it's a slept-on deep draft.
Yeah.
Back to you, sir. Overrated, underrated, properly rated. One of my personal favorite prospects in this class, Walter Nolan, the Ole Miss defensive tackle.
A guy that's good with his hands in the trenches. He gets off the line very well. He's like a power guy, though. Kind of finesse. He's like a bigger, like Myles Garrett-esque. Where did he play before Ole Miss? A&M, right?
Walter, you're talking Myles Garrett?
Yeah, no,
Walter Nolan?
Yeah.
Walter Nolan, I thought he was at Ole Miss the whole time.
Okay. I thought he
might be from A&M.
Okay.
I can't remember. Because I know there's others like L.T. Overton who has transferred out of A&M and other guys as well. You're right. I think he was at A&M.
He's one of those guys that, like, if he's in the right organization, you can build him up to be a monster.
He was at A&M for 2 years, and then he went to Ole Miss last year.
Too many people came out of that A&M draft class that ended up leaving.
Texas A&M, man, I'll tell you what, they get the players, but then they lose them.
They do. They 100% do. Too many of them have started out at A&M.
But I'm going to say overrated. I'm going to say he needs the right organization to build him up to who he is, like a defensive-focused org. Like a Philly or something might not be a pick. But
Pittsburgh Steelers there, opposite of Cam Hayward, to be the replacement.
They need his replacement.
Something like that.
That could be a team to watch out for Walter Nolan, I think. I think defensive tackle room in particular as well. The entire defensive line as a whole, I think, is where this draft is going to be focused a lot. I could see probably 13 picks in the first round, 13, 14 picks being just defensive line alone.
You could see half the draft being a defensive lineman. That's how good it is.
Yes. Yeah. And I think that could be a trickle-down effect of all these other elite prospects. Maybe they drop down the board a little bit. Maybe some guys go a little earlier than we would think.
There's going to be a lot of good players in the second round. The second round is going to be loaded.
Our last defensive lineman, Spencer, I have to do the homegrown talent, right? Overrated, underrated, properly rated. Darius Alexander, the Toledo defensive tackle.
Man, I love Darius. He's going to be around a second or third round pick, but I'm going to go underrated, man. He was like the linchpin of this defense. He did everything for him. A big, powerful guy down low, really good with his hands. Just an overall solid defensive tackle.
Unit.
He was an absolute unit. And the biggest gripe is he played in the MAC. And I think that's what's going to make him fall down this list. But, I mean, I think Tyleik Williams is going to be a steal. Not Tyleik Williams, sorry, Darius Alexander. I got a Buckeye in my head because that's who I thought you were going to go with.
I could have gone with Tyleik.
I thought you were going to go Tyleik when you said one of our guys, but no, with Darius, I think he's underrated. He was a fun player to watch in this Toledo team last year. Obviously, they had pieces on there, but he was the one player that you were like, okay, we got to watch out for him.
I mean, the
He was a
interception.
disruptor. You couldn't run on him, and he was always in the backfield. So
Doubled so many times,
Yes.
too.
That pick 6 against Pitt in the Game Above Sports Bowl up there in Detroit was so fun to watch. He had a great Senior Bowl, a very good combine. He showed the world why he's a top 50 prospect. I think the other biggest gripe about Darius Alexander, he is going to be 24, I'm pretty certain, at the start of this season. So he's on the older side of these guys. But if he goes into a team, imagine Alexander in like Philly with another rocket
32.
as an Eagle. I'm just saying
2 other ones.
they need him.
Kenneth
They
Grant, too.
Yeah, Kenneth Grant.
I think he goes second round. I think mid-second
Yeah.
round.
Mid-second round to early third, I think, is the
Yeah.
range you're going to see Darius go on day 2.
Love him in
But
Detroit.
that would be nasty. Seeing 2 Rockets on that Eagles defense, I feel like would just be so
That'd be
cool to
nuts.
watch. We're going to move now to the linebackers. The first guy I have here, he's really an edge rusher now, but in some systems, you could call him a linebacker. So Cam, overrated, underrated, properly rated. Jalen Walker, the Georgia defensive end.
I mean, Georgia. He speaks the past of Georgia. Just a big unit. A lot of these draft guys are size-wise great. On film, though, a monster. Has a motor that most don't. He could get held, and he ain't going to complain. He's going to keep going. I like the character of him.
This is a guy that I'd watch out for going in the top 10
Mm-hmm.
at 9 or 10. Or a guy who I've seen mocked in the early teens. Indianapolis, Miami,
Right.
like those 2 teams I've seen a lot. I could also see him going like 10 to the Bears. The Bears need another
Opposite of
linebacker
Montez
back
Sweat
there.
as
Opposite
well,
of Montez
because he's really,
Sweat.
like I said, he's a tweener, and that's why I could see maybe he drops a little bit.
Yeah.
Is simply because he's a linebacker who's really a defensive end.
If Shador's not there at 9, I could see him going to the Saints as well. The Saints need a little bit of everything, but I think if Shador's there, they're going to take him. But yeah, he might be one of my favorite prospects in this draft. Georgia linebackers always are dogs.
Underrated.
Yeah.
Speaking of the SEC, overrated, underrated, properly rated, Spencer, the Alabama linebacker, Jahad Campbell.
Properly rated. He's a very quick, twitchy linebacker. Has some power as well. He played for that Alabama defense, obviously. Alabama didn't have the year they thought they would. And their defense was shaky at times, but he was the captain of that defense back there in the midfield. I really like Jahad Campbell. He's a guy I could see going as high as 16 and as low as 25. I think he's going to be mid-late first round. I know some people have him sliding into the early second round as well. But I like him. He's got, like Jalen Walker, he's got a motor. He's a very good on-ball linebacker.
Yeah, I think the linebacker position here is one of the quote-unquote weaker ones of this class because you don't really see anyone outside of these 2 really mocked in the first round at all. And to be honest, that also could cause them to slip into the second round.
Because it's a weak class.
Not Jalen Walker. I think Jalen Walker, because of him being a true edge as well, being a hybrid linebacker.
Reminds me so much
He's
of
gonna
Micah
be a first-round pick.
Parsons.
Yes, he
reminds me
does.
so much of him.
Jalen Walker, that's the thing, though, about him is, like I said, he's really a linebacker, but he's really an edge. You don't know where to play him. Some teams, it depends on who he's drafted by, might call him a linebacker on draft night. The other teams might call him an edge. So Jalen Walker is, I think, a name to watch out for because he could, as Spencer said, he could be a top 10 pick. He could go to Carolina at 8.
He could.
He could go to New Orleans at 9. He could also somehow find his way down to 21st or 22nd with a Pittsburgh or a team like
That'd
that.
be crazy. He goes to Pittsburgh.
But for Jahad Campbell, yeah, you're right. I mean, he's
Imagine him of Micah,
the best.
like Micah Parsons, opposite of him in Dallas. If Dallas doesn't go for a running back, like I think a lot of people think they are, that'd be a crazy duo. They also got to pay Micah though, but
they got to pay Micah, but they need tackles too. They need
yes.
a tackle.
They need a little bit of.
their offensive
Dallas
line's
needs a
getting
lot more than people think.
Cam, we're digging deep here for these linebackers. Overrated, underrated, properly rated. We're taking a Buckeye here. Cody Simon.
I'm not a Buckeye guy, so we're going to go overrated. Just won a national championship. But he's a speedy guy, though. I'll give him that much. He looks like a track runner. Very reactive. I know that's what a linebacker's supposed to be, but very ball heavy. Like, he knows play recognition is very well out of Simon. I wouldn't say he's trash or overrated. I'd say properly. Might be a little under. one of those hybrid linebackers. Kind of came off the edge sometimes.
4th or 5th round pick?
Yeah.
Probably.
Like yeah. No, I like Cody Simon. He was, in my opinion, the leader of that defense.
Yeah.
He wore the block O, and that is the leader of the team. And he was a 5th-year guy, and he was, just everywhere on that playoff run, and much like every other Buckeye. But, yeah, he was that leader of that defense, quick linebacker, great at play recognition, one of my favorite Buckeye linebackers in the past while.
Oh, for sure. Ohio State used to be linebacker U.
Yep.
Back in the 2000s, you had the elite linebackers that came out of Ohio State. Just, you could list all of them.
Yep.
Yeah.
Shout out Ryan Shazier.
You had A.J. Hawk.
RJ Hawk.
You had others in the past. Spielman. Like, Ohio State was LBU, and I feel like they may be
fallen off a little bit.
It's
They've
fallen
gotten
off.
Linebackers drafted like, Tommy Eichenberg,
Yeah.
but he's not all that.
I think they're getting closer to getting back to that
Yeah.
nowadays. And Cody Simon,
Tough
I think, is
Borland.
a reason why. Spencer, here's a name for you. Overrated, underrated, properly rated. We're going to the U in Francisco Moigoa.
I'm going to be honest, I don't know anything about this dude.
There you go. There you go. That's what I was waiting for.
Yeah.
Man, he was really good at Miami. I think he's a little underrated because that Miami defense was awful. It was awful this year.
Yeah, it was.
And he was maybe the one bright spot they had on the entire team. Not the entire team, on the entire defense. I feel like, this linebacker class, it is on paper pretty weak.
Yeah.
But I feel like he's
heavy.
one of these guys that could get picked in the 3rd or 4th round, and all of a sudden you're looking at him. He's a borderline Pro Bowler if he gets into the right place. I like Moigoa a lot. I think he's just was in a bad defense,
Yes,
and
he
he was the shining.
Miami was horrendous on defense.
He was the shining light on that Hurricane defense this past season.
U. Oh, well.
And another guy that I don't think you have any clue about. Overrated, underrated, properly rated. We're going to Stillwater, Oklahoma, and Danny Stutzman, the Oklahoma State linebacker.
I do know a little bit about this guy. NCAA the game. He's a dog. He's got the star number 23. I'm gonna tell you, that guy's quick. It's about all I know. I imagine. I knew he ran a pretty good 40-yard, so I know the guy's quick. So that's all I can really say. I don't want to give you misinformation here, but he could be a little underrated. If you're a monster on the game, it's got to translate, right?
Absolutely.
Yup.
It's got to translate.
What do you guys think?
Shout out Jacquez Stewart.
What do you guys
I
think?
agree. I don't know much about Danny Stutzman. I just pulled this name out of the prospects list. To be
Okie
honest
State
with
was
you.
not good last year.
They were
so
awful.
They were terrible.
3-9. What's happened in Oklahoma State, man? It's been just not good. It's not good. Ollie Gordon was supposed to be so good, and he's going to be undrafted now.
Unbelievable year 2 years ago, and then just fell off the planet
planet.
of the earth last year.
So bad.
Unreal.
But Danny
Mike
Stutzman,
Gundy on the hot seat?
he should be on the hot seat. He's been.
Hey,
he's
that
the
just
longest
seems like a
tenured-
lifetime job,
That dude's
though.
crazy.
He is
He is
crazy,
very
but that just
crazy.
seems like
Crazy.
Okie State would let him go whenever he wants.
Yeah.
Probably. He's the longest tenured football coach in the country,
Yeah.
tied with Kirk Ferentz at Iowa.
They've had
So,
good years. It was weird seeing them have a bad year last year. Terrible.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna move to the cornerback room. Good amount of corners. I think a lot of dark horse corners as well that have come up the draft board
Yeah.
as well. Spencer, with you, overrated, underrated, properly rated. We're going Jahdae Barron to Texas corner.
My favorite corner in this draft. That Texas defense, people are way overlooking. This Texas defense was filled with NFL talent everywhere, and Jahdae Barron was the guy on that defense at the corner spot. A lot of people just assumed Will Johnson was going to be the guy. I think Barron goes before Johnson. He's, to me, screams a top 10 pick. And I know some people, he's risen a ton. I think he's going to continue to rise. I could see him as high as number 4 to the Patriots, the opposite of Christian Gonzalez. But at the same time, to me, he screams a Raider. This dude just screams a Las Vegas Raider. But he's my favorite guy in this. He's quick. He's elusive. He's great at play recognition. He's a ball hawk when he needs to be. And he's a guy that you're not going to be able to throw the ball much to because he's going to be covering your guy. He's going to be a CB1. He's my favorite corner, and I think he's going to be a star.
I agree, and I feel like maybe the best defensive player from that Texas team this past year is still on their roster moving forward. One of the best freshmen in the country, and Colin Simmons as well on that defensive line. So Texas, I mean, they just keep breeding defensive players right now under Steve Sarkisian.
They got to get a natty at some point.
Jahdae Barron, I agree with you about him being – I think he's properly rated right now. I think a lot of hype we've seen post-playoff of Jahdae Barron and rising up draft boards. I do agree. I think he's deserving of the recognition. But I got to pivot to the second guy here for Cam. Overrated, underrated, properly rated. Will Johnson, the Michigan corner.
This one's rough. Injured this past season a little bit. Showed out against Ohio State year prior and stuff. But, you know, I think he's a little overrated. I think a tiny bit. I think with injuries and all that, he's great. Great with his hands. Great man. But in zone coverage, I don't think he's that. So he's a developmental player. So we'll see. It's a lot of these players, it's kind of where they go. You give them with hardball again, we'll play him right.
Yeah, the thing is with Will Johnson, I think he's become an underrated guy simply because of his injuries. I think people are kind of overlooking him. I mean, this was the consensus number one corner.
He was a
in this
top
class.
5 pick the entire year, and
he was a lot.
Now he's just fallen for no reason.
You know, and a team's going to get lucky. I don't see him past the top 15, though, just simply off talent alone.
I don't see him past 11. I think if he's there at 11 for San Francisco, he's going. I don't think the Niners are going to pass on him.
That would be a good spot for him.
That would be, especially after they lost Javarius Ward.
Yes.
That'd be amazing for them. That'd be, because he'd fill right in. When he's healthy, you can throw the ball to him. He was that good of a lockdown corner for all 3 years at Michigan. He had, injury concerns last year. He wasn't healthy. When he's healthy, he was the best corner in college football.
Yes, and you're right.
Just
in man coverage, he's the best man coverage corner in this class. It's not close. But with Will Johnson, I really think he's become an underrated prospect simply because of his injuries, and now everyone else is talking about the other corners in the class. Jahdae Barron. We've got some other people to talk about on this list that some people think could go in the first round and maybe be more impactful. But Will Johnson, he's a Michigan guy, but he has been completely forgotten about. He's my corner one when healthy, so he is an elite prospect. When healthy, he's top 5 in this class.
Biggest concern, I will say, though, is will he be healthy again?
Exactly.
Right.
Because will this be a lingering injury that he's been dealing with, or will he be fully healthy and back to being himself? So
fits perfect for the 49ers.
And I got to say this, though, real quick. Why has no one been talking about that with Abdul Carter?
Yeah, right. Abdul Carter with his foot injury.
No one has been talking how much that could maybe play a factor with Abdul Carter. He's a lock for the top 3.
Yep.
So that's what we automatically assume.
Yep.
We don't really know until draft night. Who knows
if
what
he
these
falls,
teams really think?
I will be absolutely shocked if he goes past 5, like Jacksonville. I'd be shocked. I know the injury is there. This dude is he's the best prospect in the draft. He's my favorite prospect in the draft.
He's 1A, 1B because Travis Hunter as well is just that elite.
We'll see.
If he can impact both sides of the ball.
He's not going to play both sides. No, he's not. He can't be in the offense and defensive meeting all at once.
He won't be, though. We know what he'll do. We know what he'll do. Because
wonder why Logan's defending him.
Why am I defending him?
I wonder why Logan's defending Travis Hunter.
I'm not defending Travis Hunter. It's all right. We'll just keep moving on. We'll keep moving on here. Overrated, underrated, properly rated for Cam. We'll go with the Notre Dame corner and Benjamin Morrison.
I don't know too much. I'm going to keep it a buck like Giannis here. I didn't watch a lot of Notre Dame. Let's hear you. Let's give your analysis.
So Benjamin Morrison, I feel like people forget about how good this Notre Dame defense was last year.
It was immaculate.
It was great in that whole defensive backfield.
Yep.
You had Benjamin Morrison. You had Xavier Watts at safety, who, in my opinion, was the second best safety in college football last year behind Caleb Downs. And Jordan Clark as well.
Yep.
The son of Ryan Clark in that defensive backfield. But Benjamin Morrison, I think he's a first-round talent at the cornerback position. I think he could be a first-round pick. We'll have to see because I think there's a lot of other guys in the corner.
He's the guy that got hurt, right?
Yes.
And he was out almost all last year.
A lot of it.
But he was a projected top 10 pick coming in this year. Yeah, he was. When he was at Notre Dame a few years ago, he was one of the best corners in the country alongside Will Johnson.
Yes. And I feel like Benjamin Morrison, I think he's going to be one of those guys that's either a late first-round pick or he's going sometime he's a late first-rounder to mid-second-round pick.
Yeah.
And I feel like whoever picks him is going to get great value for that pick because just a year or two ago, this guy was probably
underrated.
a top 15 pick. So
I think he's underrated.
I think he's 100% underrated. And we're going to pivot to another guy. I think you know this guy a little bit. Overrated, underrated, properly rated. We're going Trey Amos, Ole Miss corner.
Trey Amos is a guy that not a lot of people talk about, but he could be a first-round pick. The guy from Ole Miss, he's quick, twitchy. He's a really fast corner, really good in coverage. But people don't talk about him a lot because Ole Miss's defense, was so last year.
Spent so much money too just for it to be average.
Yeah, I know. But Ole Miss was so close to making the playoffs if they would have just beaten Kentucky at home. No, I think I think he's underrated. A lot of people don't talk about him because you have the big names like Travis Hunter, the corner spot, Jahdae Barron and Will Johnson, and even Morrison. But he's a guy that's gonna. I feel like he's going to be a mid to late first round pick, probably second round.
Okay.
But I could see him going as high as the the late first round.
Yeah, I agree. I think Trey Amos, he's really come on here throughout the draft process. He did really good at the combine. He's done really good at Ole Miss's pro day.
Watch out for him to be like Washington. Like
Yeah.
the Commanders.
I feel like he's one of those prospects. He could be a surprise where he could maybe be a late teens pick. That's the thing about the NFL draft.
There's going to be a guy that jumps and is going
Yes.
to be like Michael Penix. Nobody thought Penix was going 8.
Mm-hmm.
There's going to be a guy that goes in the top 10 that nobody thinks is going to. Same with the top,
Same with the top 20 and top 30.
top 32 and all that stuff. That's the fun part of it. You don't know what's going to happen. We could talk about all this, and then next thing you know, like Tyreek Williams is taken in the top 10. Like, you never know.
Right. It all just depends on opinions and what teams want and what teams value.
Yeah.
And guys they want in their team, One more guy. We'll have this for the whole panel here because I don't think Cam will know who I'm talking about.
We'll see.
Overrated, underrated, properly rated. We're going to Kentucky. Maxwell Hairston. I've seen him projected a lot in the first round. As of recent, a lot of people see him as a first-round corner.
Yeah, had a day at the combine,
Yep.
if I'm correct.
Yes.
40 time was ridiculous. Climbed up draft boards, but played on a Kentucky squad that was kind of like,
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I the only reason I know him is because I follow some Kentucky people on
Right.
X or Twitter, and that's all they talked about
Mm-hmm.
on defense. He was their leader on defense. He was their
Exactly.
only good piece.
They also have defensive tackle Deion Walker. We didn't name either. I've seen him previously mocked in like the early second round as well.
Yeah,
So
but he was their leader on defense and in the secondary, and he's a guy that I could see. I see him as like a second round pick.
yeah, he's got the
I see like
physical.
a early to mid second round pick.
Mhm.
Maybe he rises into the top like maybe 32, 31, like very late first round. I don't see it, but he's a guy that I would watch out for because no one's gonna think of Kentucky when they're going towards their draft boards.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a guy that I'd watch out for because I read up a little bit about him because so people were talking about him, Kentucky fans, and that's all they had pretty
Yep.
much. And it was kind of sad, but yeah, he was pretty solid though.
I'm gonna go underrated.
underrated, I think too. Moving on to our last room, the safety room. I think the safeties this year in this class, I think there's a lot more than people are talking about. You have the top 2. People feel like they have a lock at the top 2. But I think there's about 3 or 4 other safeties that could really make some serious impacts here in the NFL. We'll start off with, of course, the top 2, though. We'll go with Spencer here. Overrated, underrated, properly rated. We'll start off with Nick Emenwari, the South Carolina safety, who really shined at the combine.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing. He made a name for himself at the combine, breaking records and like making, he was unreal. And a lot of people, South Carolina was pretty solid last year, and he was one of their guys on defense. He's a quick safety. He's versatile. He can play corner as well. He actually played a little bit as well for South Carolina. And he's got a motor. That's like the big thing I look forward in my corners and safeties and linebackers, anybody who plays secondary. If they have a motor, I just don't stop going. He's one of those guys. And, South Carolina was a little overlooked last year. I know they just finished outside the playoffs. They should watch a little bit more of their defense because they made some plays last year, and he was in the focal point of most of them.
Yeah. I think this is a guy who has a deep range of where he could go. I think he is either a borderline top 15 pick in this class or he's an early second-round pick.
Wild
It
card.
just depends on how you value the safety position and what people feel like or needs, because I feel like the defensive line is going to dominate this first round.
Yes.
It'll just be intriguing to see where some of these other guys, like these corners, how far down they fall or how early they could go. I think Emenwari has a range of as high as, I would say, Miami at 13. I think that could be the earliest he goes. He could be Miami's pick in the second round.
He could.
You know, who knows how this board's going to fall, but Emenwari, he really, at the combine, I mean, he had the second best performance statistically at any position in a long time.
Yep.
For the combine.
Made a name for himself.
He made a name for himself, and honestly, he more than likely could be that first-round pick for the Dolphins. I said at 13. For you, Cam, overrated, underrated, properly rated. We're going to Georgia, and a lot of people feel like he's the number one safety in this class in Malachi Starks.
Yeah, I'm going to have to just give him proper rating. He's a Georgia guy once again. Kirby just gets those dogs, no pun intended. But Malachi Starks the one that hit Marvin Harrison?
No, that's Javon Bullard. Fun
Bullard.
fact, he's a Green Bay Packer.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Just
I can hate
making
him
sure.
even more.
But real ball heavy Malachi is. Kind of a ball magnet. He's great at like staying off of the ball but being on it, kind of baiting the quarterback. I like his speed. Chargers might find yourself something, but there's many options for safeties here, like you guys have been saying. But I mean, just a Georgia guy who's polished.
I completely agree. I think you could say that with most Georgia guys in the secondary. They're all polished. They're all physical. They're all, versatile. And they're all dogs. I think that's just the funniest way to put them.
Yeah.
And, obviously no pun intended, but like.
She don't want a puppy?
She want a
Big dog.
No, I think that he's going to be a top 15 pick.
Yeah.
I really like Malachi Starks.
Dog for
Can
real.
someone draft the rights to Caleb Downs for next year?
The Cleveland Browns, I'd love him opposite of Grant Delpit. Oh, my goodness gracious. That'd be filthy. Cam, for you, overrated, underrated. Oh, wait, I just did you. My apologies. We'll go over to
Pause?
Spencer. Pause. Overrated, underrated, properly rated. Spencer. We're going to Notre Dame since he knows nothing about the Fighting Irish over here. Xavier Watts.
I love Xavier Watts. I think he's underrated. I know not a lot of people talk about this Notre Dame defense because, Notre Dame, they lost to NIU. And obviously they lost in the national championship game. I got
Greatest
to see
team
firsthand him play, seeing him play against Ohio State. He was everywhere on that field. He's great in zone. You're not going to get anything above him. Xavier Watts, and obviously I think he was a senior. I'm pretty sure. I think he was a 4-year guy. But he is one of my favorite safeties, if not my favorite safety in this draft, next to obviously Starks. I really like Watts. He's versatile. He's a dog, all that stuff. He's everything you want in a safety.
He's underrated, in my opinion.
Yep.
I think he's an underrated prospect. He's one of my personal favorite prospects. Doesn't mean he's a top 5 prospect. He's just one of my own favorite guys in this class. I think it's funny. I've seen differing opinions. I saw someone who had a source in the NFL say he's barely a 4th-round pick.
No
I've seen
way.
another source say he's a top 30 prospect in the class. So there's a lot of varying opinions on
So
Xavier
many
Watts.
wild cards in this draft.
And I feel like Xavier Watts is a top 30 prospect in this class. I think he's a first-round talent. Do I think he goes first round? No. Could he be one of those surprise names we could see in the first round? Absolutely.
Maybe pick 27, 8, 9, something like that, like very late first round.
As we stated earlier, 50 to 55 guys realistically could be first-round picks in
Yes.
this class. I think there's names. I mean, that's every class, realistically
Yep.
speaking.
Yeah.
Like Cole Strange in the first round a couple years for the
Cole
Patriots.
Strange, yeah, they had terrible
Who?
draft classes.
The Rams said they were trying to get
Isaiah
him at like
Wilson,
104.
remember Isaiah Wilson with Tennessee, the tackle?
That boy doesn't even play football no more.
Yeah, he was. That was rough.
It's rough ones, but Xavier Watts, I think he's an early day 2 guy. I hate saying this, but he almost feels like a Green Bay Packer.
At 23.
Not at 23, but maybe their second-round pick. I don't know. He just seems like a guy that would be a Green Bay
Notre
Packer.
Dame, Midwest, blue collar. Yeah, I could see it.
Cam, for you, I don't know how much you know about this guy, but personally, for me, I think he's a first-round player as well. I think all 4 of these safeties we've mentioned is overrated, underrated, properly rated. We're going back to Texas. Andrew Makuba. I think that dude was all over the field for the Longhorns this season.
Yep.
And I think he is completely underrated.
Take it.
Take it from here?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
he
think
was.
Andrew Makuba, to me, he's in the last week, all of a sudden, people have had him in the first round
Skyrocketed.
in mock draft.
Okay.
He's completely skyrocketed recently. And the thing is, that's the beauty about the NFL draft. The closer you get to the draft, more info comes out. You hear more from people, and then you can kind of really narrow down to where you think these guys end up going. This is a at least early second-round pick, I think, for Andrew Makuba. I think he's going to be one of the first half of the second round. I think he's going there.
Okay.
But he could easily be one of those shockers on night one where he's going in the first round. We could see 4 safeties in the first round. I don't think that happens, though, because I don't think the safety position is really that invested, that elite. Yeah. But I think Makuba has a chance to be one of those 5 to 6 guys that's a first-round pick. You're like, I never would have thought he was a first-round pick.
Everywhere in that Ohio State game in
Yes.
the playoffs. He was everywhere as well. I mean, I'll trust any of the Texas guys, to be honest with you. That defense played unbelievable all year long, and Makuba was everywhere in the backfield for Texas. I mean, he can blitz. He can play cover. I mean, he can do everything for him.
I have to end it off with this, Spencer, of course. Overrated, underrated, properly rated. I actually changed it last minute here. During the show, I had to switch it. Originally, I had Jordan Clark from Notre Dame, Ryan Clark's son. But I have to go with the Buckeye, right? Lathan Ransom.
I thought you were going to go with Max and Hook, to be honest.
Nope.
Lathan Ransom is very, very, very underrated. He's a guy not even a lot of Buckeye fans talked about, to be honest with you, but he was such a key piece alongside of, Caleb Downs in that safety backfield. I mean, the Ohio State safeties played unbelievable last year. Caleb Downs is the best defensive player in football. Lathan Ransom was very, very good last year and was overlooked because of Downs. And he is fast. He's super quick, and he'll tackle just about anything. I mean, he had that huge hit in the Oregon game on their running back. I can't remember who his name was, but I remember he had a big hit. And watching
In which game?
Huh?
Which game?
The playoff game.
There's 5 of them.
The Ohio State Oregon playoff game.
Oh, Jordan James, maybe?
Maybe. I don't
Jordan
remember.
Whittington? Maybe Whittington.
It was a guy that got hurt. He got hurt, and then his backup came in.
Oh, I remember that. I think it might have been Whittington.
But anyway, Ransom was everywhere for the Buckeyes this year. Really underappreciated player. Another one of those, senior guys who came back for, his 4th, 5th year. But he was everything for the Buckeyes this year. And I think he's a leader, and I think he's going to be very solid in the NFL. But I don't think he's going to be a high pick as Buckeye fans would like. 3rd, 4th round, maybe even lower. I don't think he gets past. I don't think he gets anywhere north of the 3rd round, though.
Well, I guess we'll have to see on next week's episode where these guys will go, if they do go in the 1st round.
Got a big one next week.
A big one next week. Sneak peek into it. We have our mock draft episode coming out to you. It's not really next week, but it will be next week if you know what I'm saying. So, with that, we're wrapping it up here, but we have one more thing before we do go. Keep an eye out. Asa Trivia. I heard it's a remix, though. It's a remix session.
Yeah.
Is that right, Spencer?
That is right.
Really?
Doing a little switcheroo.
Little switcheroo. That's crazy.
Yeah. Little Freaky Friday type thing.
It's a Freaky Friday. All right. Ain't nothing wrong with a little Freaky Friday, if you know what I'm saying.
That's right.
But all that and more coming up here. Don't go anywhere. Stay tuned. You're watching the Ball and Beats podcast. All right,
Hey, why have you not subscribed to Ball and Beats? If you don't, me and Miss Piggy will come after you. So why don't you go after yourself, and why don't you subscribe already? Because this is ridiculous. What are you doing? Subscribe, push notification bell, go listen to us on Spotify and Apple Music. If you don't, I will send the Muppets after you, and you don't want me to do that. Fozzie Bear is not a very nice guy if you make him mad. Patrick Mahomes.
what Kermit said, subscribe to the podcast, and I don't know what this is, but this is staying. Back to the show.
Welcome back, everybody, to episode 135 of the Ball and Beats podcast, as we have a new segment for you all today. It feels like I'm in the wrong place, to be honest with you, as I have taken Asa's spot for Asa's trivia. And now it's Spencer's trivia. As you can see, the lovable loser, Javi Baez, is behind me.
It looks beautiful.
He's hitting 321, though, so far this year. So watch out for a comeback tour from Javi Baez.
Most improved player in baseball?
Give it like 30 more at-bats. He'll get his average down to 210. But we got some questions for you all today. I got 11 questions. I had different topics, but I have 10 questions, 10 different topics, and then I have a bonus question at the end.
There we go. Asa, how you feel about sitting in this seat with us at the table?
You know, I actually have never been in contention for the Rizzler Cup that I made. So it's kind of nice to be on the other side of the podium. And I just got back recently from the moon, so I'm excited to be back here.
How's the corn growing up there real quick?
I had to come back and get some kernels. I'll be back to the moon pretty soon here. So be on the lookout.
That moon
for some
corn's
big
going to
news.
hit different.
It's going to
Ooh,
hit
yeah.
different, bro. Is it heaven? Nope.
Is
It's
it
the
close?
moon.
What's the best type of way to have corn? I think it's grilled on the cob.
You know what? I like we'll get back to you on that. I like street corn. I'm a big street corn guy.
Street corn's good.
But
I like mine popped personally.
fair. Very
Yeah.
fair.
But so we have a new segment with my trivia today, as I will be hosting it. 10 different topics, 10 different questions, with a bonus question as well. Gentlemen, are you ready to go?
Born ready,
Yes,
boss.
sir.
Think so.
So simple point system. You get a point for everyone you get right. Whoever's at the end gets the coveted trophy in all of sports, the Rizzlers Cup. Gentlemen,
Shout out the Rizzler.
question number 1 is geography.
Ooh,
Let's go.
okay.
Question number 1. Which country is Dubai located in?
I might sound really dumb.
You get, I'll say 20 seconds.
Don't be taking my answers now. I think some people might be taking my answers.
I know this from iShow Speed.
Oh yeah.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Gentlemen, pens down. We'll start over here. Asa, what is your answer?
UAE, United Arab Emirates.
Logan?
UAE, United Arab Emirates.
I had the same thing.
Congratulations, gentlemen. You all have a point.
Are we
Homie's
keeping
got a-
our own
homie's-
score?
Homie's got a few
Nope, I
scribbles.
got it.
All right.
I got the score sheet up here. So yes,
Homie's
it
got a
is
few
the United
scribbles out
Arab
here.
I do have
Emirates.
scribbles.
Question number 2 is the NHL.
I have to protect this.
Which NHL team has the current longest playoff drought, last making it in 2011?
I think I know it. I could be wrong, but I think I know it.
I have 2 answers. Do I have to pick the best one?
Could there be more than one here?
No, there's only one.
There is only one?
Yep.
I'm in between
I
2
think-
teams.
And it's the longest by like 5 years.
Okay, I think I got it.
Second, you want to know who second is? Second is the Red Wings. Thanks, Stevie.
Really?
Okay.
I
So,
think I have
I
the
think I
main-
have the right answer. I actually have no idea. I don't know.
It's
I'm
in
not,
between two.
2,
that I
Yeah,
can
it's in
think of.
between 2 that I
1,
can think
pens down. Asa, what is your answer?
of. So the Ottawa Senators.
That's the other team I'm thinking of, but I think it's the Buffalo Sabres.
Yeah. Oh!
Cam?
Sorry, Mike.
Not an NHL guy, but I went with the Blue Jackets.
So, Asa, Ottawa clinched their first playoff berth 2 days ago, and it was since 2017. Logan, the Buffalo Sabres have not made the playoffs since 2011. You are correct. Cam, Columbus last made it in 2020.
Dude, actually, I did know it was the Sabres. I don't know why I was feeling Senators so hard.
I was in between Buffalo and Ottawa, and then I'm like, I don't know about Ottawa. I knew Buffalo. I mean, yeah, they have they had what's his name. They don't have him no more. Am I
Just
tripping?
not a puck guy.
Didn't they have?
Not a
Who's the
puck
name
guy,
I'm
he's
thinking
just not
of?
a-
I'm
He
He was
getting
drafted.
the
Skinner?
pucks.
Okay.
He was drafted like first or second over. Jack Eichel.
Jack
They
Eichel,
ha-
yeah,
they
he's
had
in Vegas
Eichel. He's
now.
in Vegas now. That's who I was thinking of.
They have
and
so
all the
many
hype.
high first-round picks, though, but they still lose because they're the lovable losers from
Yes.
Buffalo, just like their football neighbors. Number 3 is mathematics. I'm not.
Oh,
Gonna,
okay.
I'm
Well,
not,
calm major. I'm walking out.
I'm
on
not
this
giving you a math question.
Okay.
Like I'm not giving you a math equation.
one. Henry
Thank
had 48
God.
watermelons.
So, what does the E in PEMDAS stand for? First off, you have to know what PEMDAS is. I hope you all do.
It's been.
Good
Hey,
job.
you shouldn't have
Yep.
said.
I should give bonus
Bro,
points.
Bro, I was gonna put excuse. I was gonna put excuse.
No,
so
that's
you know
not,
what?
That's not what it stands for.
But you asked what the E in PEMDAS stands for. It
Yeah.
stands for excuse.
No, it doesn't.
And he just blew it. You just blew it.
PEMDAS, no, it's a mathematical equation.
No, but I mean it has. Okay.
It is the order in which to do math equations.
Do you know how long it's been since I've touched math, bro? Like,
Hey,
I
hey,
haven't
don't
had a
say a
math
thing.
class in
Don't say a
4
thing,
years.
cameraman.
All right.
Don't say a thing.
5,
I haven't even written anything.
4,
Can you give,
3,
like,
2,
10
1.
seconds?
Asa, your answer.
Let's start with Cam.
Okay, do any of you know it? I'll just go with
Yes,
that.
I know it.
Okay, then say it.
Exponent.
I did write equation.
Cam,
I didn't write anything down.
good job, Asa. It is exponents. PEMDAS stands for parentheses, exponents, multiplication, division, addition, subtraction.
You know, all
It
my,
is in which the way you do equations in math.
bring
I
it in.
asked for
Bring
a
it in.
shot clock.
Bring it in.
Reset.
Okay. Hey, all you math high school kids that I was in that class with, yeah, I told you I would make it
Good job,
someday.
Ace. I am
told
so
you I would
proud
make
of
it
Asa.
someday.
Right.
Trivia hosts unite. Let's go. Attaboy. All right. Good. I am very proud. Other two, it's okay. Did Jess know it? She did. Good job, Jess.
This has got to be rigged.
Number 4
This is
is
rigged.
on outer space.
Outer space?
Outer space.
Asa should know
Hey,
a lot about
we
this.
just-
This is rigged for him, too.
We just took Jillian's class.
But
Me and this guy
So-
right here.
did we retain the information?
Nope.
We will see.
We'll see.
All right. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
How many planets in our solar system have rings?
Yerp. Extra if I name them? If I name them?
If you want to name them, go ahead. You know what? How about this? I'll get. No, I won't. I'm not going to give you a bonus point for it. You'll get a tap on the back. I'll give you a pat on the back.
All right. I'll
Asa,
take that.
I'm not confident.
I'm confident.
I'm
I'm
confident.
confident.
I think I know it.
You ready?
All right.
All
Yeah,
right.
let's start with
Let's start with Cam. We'll start with Cam.
I said 2.
Logan,
I said 3.
Asa,
The answer is 3, and they are Uranus, Neptune,
Neptune
and
and
Saturn.
Saturn. Yeah.
you said what?
Uranus, Neptune, and Saturn.
Huh.
Uranus.
There's 4. You forgot Jupiter.
I
has a
originally
ring on
wrote
it.
4, too.
Jupiter has a very small ring on it, but it is noticeable from outer space. And they have the most moons in our solar system as well.
Bro,
I'm
I
actually
was
so upset 'cause I
was
wrote
It is
4
confident.
and was gonna
Jupiter,
write Jupiter.
Saturn, Uranus,
I'm
and
upset because I
Neptune.
was so confident, but you know what?
All 4 planets in the outer solar system
I almost had
Hey,
it.
I
have
kn-
rings.
I almost had it.
Uranus is the ones that go the other way.
Yeah,
Yep.
because it's
Yep.
inverted. It's an inverted
Uranus
planet.
goes inverted, and then the other 2 are horizontal.
Inverted planet right
That's
there.
hurt.
So
That sucks. Well,
no points there, but it was a stumper a little bit.
That was a very good question.
Number 5. We're going back to sports. We're going to the National Football League.
sounds beautiful to
Dang
me.
it.
I have no hope.
How many total games are played in a typical NFL regular season?
Are you talking combined for the entire year? Or you're
He said
The
talking,
entire
regular season.
regular season.
so
regular season.
are you combining every single game that's played?
Yep. Every game.
Or
Every
just, like,
single
How
game?
many
Per
how
team?
many total games are played in a single NFL regular season?
Like for one team or like every team?
Every team, all 32.
Dude,
The
that's
total
just-
amount of games.
So now this is a math question.
Yeah, that's
you
a
jerk.
math question. I'm not doing it, so I'll take the L.
You know, if you would have watched Sunday Night Football, Vikings versus Lions, you would have heard this like 20 times on the broadcast.
Hold on, I got to do some math. So give me 1 hour.
You get 20 seconds. We're not trying to spend all day here. While they're thinking about it, shout out the Detroit Tigers for
No,
a 5-1 homestand. By the way,
no,
getting back over 500, first in the AL Central.
no,
Beat the Yankees
no.
in a series. You hate to see it.
Cam's having a rough one today on this episode, isn't
Yeah.
he?
I mean, my teams have just
Shout out Jazz Chisholm
the
for hitting
drain.
under 200.
took the drain. Yeah.
All right,
There's no
pencils
hope.
down or pens down. Logan, we're gonna start out with you. How many is there?
Okay, so I think I calculated the math. I don't know how fully correct this is, but I think it's a total of 224 games.
Cam?
I didn't do the math.
Okay. Asa?
I had 228 games.
Gentlemen, there's 272 games in an NFL regular season.
Did that math for nothing, boys.
Hey,
We tried. We tried.
hey, we had 200 something.
All
did
I
have
heard on
200.
the broadcast for Lions-Vikings, game 272 for the top seed in the NFC.
Wah, wah.
So, a little quick score update. Tied for first is Logan and Asa at 2.
Let's go.
And in second place is Cam at 1. I don't know how many points Jess has, but I know she at least has 1. So, all right. Number 6, the National Basketball Association.
Dang. Okay.
And this is a quick one. Who is the all-time leader in blocks? And if you can name, or if you can, however many blocks there are, like if you can name the number, you get it at a bonus point. I'd be surprised if you do, but you get a bonus point because I didn't even know it to begin with. A lot of thinking going on over there.
Don't think I'm right, but I feel like I may be in a ballpark. Talking
10
about player,
seconds.
not number, because I don't have the number. I could not tell you.
Yeah, the number is crazy. It's actually crazy. He
Can
got
I get a
this
hint?
many,
Can
to
I
be
get a
honest
hint?
with you.
Can I get a hint?
He was an NBA player.
All right,
Sure.
1960s?
Yes. Okay.
2000.
Maybe. Maybe not.
Give me one more second here.
1. I think I've given them plenty of enough time.
All right.
You
All
have.
right, Cam, we're going to start out with you. Who is it?
I'm going to put Wilt with... No. Actually, can I change real quick? I just thought of a player, like, right off the dome. Is that doable here on the show?
Fine.
If not, I'll
Yes.
take
Yes.
the L. I'm going to go Bill Russell. We're going to go 10,500.
Logan.
I don't think that's right at all.
Not the number.
Not the number. So it is Bill Russell then, huh? There we go. He just said that.
No,
not
it's
the
not
number.
Bill Russell.
He just said not the number.
Well, I was
Someone's
trying to
give it
say
away.
no because
you see
that's...
that? You see that?
Okay,
All
how about this? I'll give you guys the number because I don't think any of you got it. It's 3,820.
right. Okay. My guess.
Who is it?
My guess is Hakeem Olajuwon.
Asa?
I was thinking of the Twin Towers. I was thinking of maybe Ralph Sampson, maybe Hakeem, but I had Serge Ibaka.
Serge Ibaka? That's a hell of a pull.
It's a great pull out of that one.
With 3,830 blocks in an NBA career from the Houston Rockets is Hakeem the Dream Olajuwon.
Yes.
The
Let's
Nigerian
go.
Nightmare. Dang it! I knew it.
Come on.
Great guess from Logan.
You know what?
Top
You know
10
what?
player of all
You wanna
time.
know-
by
you
the
wanna know
way,
a
but
fun-
he says.
Bill Russell was a really good guess.
You want to know a fun fact?
What's
Hakeem
that?
Olajuwon is my favorite basketball player of all time.
Really?
Yeah,
Why's that?
because he's just cool.
He's the dream.
He's
cool.
him.
He's
He's a top 10 player of all time. No, do not disrespect Hakeem the Dream.
No, you can't. And he's also goated in 2K, by the way.
Should've
You
never went to
cannot
Houston.
stop that
Unstoppable.
man.
Serge Ibaka was great. He's good.
Jeremy Lin was
Shout
actually
out
tough.
fourth guy, Serge Ibaka. All right. Number 7 is college football. The game is the name for the annual rivalry game between Ohio State and Michigan, but it is also the name for these two schools who annually meet every year. Who are the schools? There is another rivalry game called the game. Who is it?
Cooked.
Shout out Asa wearing the Cubs sweatshirt, by the way. Kyle Tucker's balling
Shout out Kyle Tucker. Yeah,
Shout out
that-
Kyle Tucker.
He
Shout out
is-
Javier Baez.
he is hitting to the
He's
moon.
hitting 321. Put some respect on this man's name. Also, shout out Spencer Torkelson.
Yeah.
I dog this man so much. He might be the best. He is the best hitter on the Tigers right now. His OPS is like 1,000 almost. So, also shout out the Atlanta Braves. You guys better start winning, or else you're gonna be in the basement the entire year.
Shout out Eric.
Sorry, Eric.
Shout out Eric.
You guys, yikes, man.
2-9.
Sean Murphy though, when he came back, he had a home run in his first game, first at bat back.
There we go. Hey, at least for the guards, we got Manzardo hitting
Kyle Manzardo.
moonshots.
I thought you were a Rays fan.
We've had this conversation, but
All right, I keep saying pencils down. Pens down. Asa, which other rivalry game is also called the game?
Princeton and Yale.
Logan?
It could be Princeton and Yale, but I do think it's Ivy League. I said Harvard and Yale.
Duke UNC.
Duke UNC. All right.
I'll tell you. So, the game, it's a historical rivalry, and it is an Ivy League rivalry.
It's Penn.
It is Harvard versus Yale. Logan got it again.
Yes. Let's go.
Congratulations to Logan. The Bulldogs and the Crimson fight for every year for the game. I didn't know that before I looked it up, to be honest with you. So, yeah, little fun, little nugget there.
Harvard, Yale. The Crimson and Bulldogs.
The Crimson and the Bulldogs.
Elite football teams. Ivy League deserves
Shout out
more
the
respect
Yale Bowl. Shout out the Yale Bowl, one of the ugliest looking stadiums
you'll ever
out
see
there.
in your life. That thing is grody.
It's so bad.
It is
All the Ivy
disgusting.
League school stadiums are terrible.
That's just because they were built in like the 1750s. So that happens when you have still wooden benches
Yep.
in that are 300 years old still today.
Yep. All right. Question number 8 is on history. Hope you guys know your history. The shot heard around the world refers to the first shot fired in which American war? If you were paying
Thank you,
attention-
bro.
Hope you were paying attention in high school.
I don't think I'm right.
My high school teachers
think I
just
might just
played.
give up.
Oh, it's a war, specific war,
Movies.
not specific
Yeah,
battle.
it's a war.
You want the war?
I start thinking about
It
like
started the war.
Arch,
Yes.
The shot heard around the world
Yes.
started this war.
Arch Ferdinand Duke.
Nope.
I thought you wanted a battle. My bad.
Gavrilo Princip actually
just
was
the
the one
war.
who shot Archduke Franz Ferdinand. So.
All right.
He's
Pens
a-
down.
He was a revolutionist for the Black Hand.
Cam, I'm going to go with you because I don't think you know it.
I didn't write it down.
All right. Logan.
What's it say? I'm sorry to the fans. That's what his paper says right here.
All right.
That's-
Well,
Okay.
maybe next time.
I don't think I'm right, but I'm just throwing it out on a limb. I just said the American Revolution.
Asa?
So the shot heard around the world started the Revolutionary War, but it was heard at Lexington and Concord.
Concord. You're correct. It is the Revolutionary War, so Asa
I have
and
no
Logan
chance.
got a point.
I have no
Wait,
chance.
what? No, because I should get double points because I said Lexington and Concord.
I didn't ask which battles. I asked...
What war?
I asked which war.
I should get a. Hey, fans, let me know down below if I should get an extra point.
Controversy in the Spencer's Trivia.
It's going to be Asa underneath there saying, I need it.
Okay.
I'm the only one who comments most of the time.
Okay, you know what? This next question is going to be worth 2 points.
Okay, well, it better be history.
And this is baseball.
Okay, frick.
Which
Sorry, can we bleep that out? Can we bleep that out in post?
No.
Okay.
What'd you say?
I
Said frick.
I said frick. Bleep it out. Bleep it out.
No, we're not.
I'm sorry to the fans.
Yeah, hold up his sign again. All right. MLB. Okay, now we said sorry to the fans. Which player has hit a home run in 6 consecutive seasons on opening day? This is an MLB record. This player has hit on 6 straight opening days a home run. And Jess, you can play along if you know it too. Solid player.
Can I get a team?
Great player?
No.
A team.
Great player?
It's 2 points. Not great player.
Well, it's not my guy then.
Now, if nobody gets the player but the team, can we get a point?
No.
Is are we talking good old fashioned baseball or like new baseball?
This is the last 6 opening days.
Oh,
Oh,
okay,
the
so,
last
okay.
6
This is
opening
the
days.
last 6
Oh.
opening days.
Well, it's definitely not my guy.
Yeah. No, it's no, it's not Prince Fielder. It's just,
I think I might have this.
he's played the last 6 consecutive opening days. It's an MLB record. He's hit a home run in 6 straight opening days. Either at home or on the road.
Has he been on the same team the whole time?
No,
Okay.
he is not.
All right.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't think he's even been on the same team.
He's not been on the same team the whole time.
I'll give you guys a few extra seconds.
Ooh.
Cam got it.
I don't know.
Ball knower over here of baseball. I'd love it.
I keep feeling it.
I don't know.
I think I
5,
got it.
4, 3, 2, 1. We're gonna go with Jess last because if she says she knows it. We're gonna start with Asa.
Cody Bellinger.
Logan.
I know this is wrong, but the previous two names were guys who weren't, who aren't playing anymore. So I just went with Juan Soto, but I know he didn't this year. So
Now listen, this is not a big name, I don't think. So he either plays for the A's or the Orioles, and his name is Taylor like Rutschman, something like that. I'm not 100%
Adam
sure,
Rutschman.
but
You talking Adley Rutschman?
no, I think it's Taylor something with the answer, but I'm not sure. My memory is not the best with names.
Okay,
But
so
we will
there
see.
is a Rutschman who plays in the MLB.
Might
but
not be him.
He plays for the Orioles.
Gotcha.
Adley Rutschman.
Jess, do you know? Congratulations to Jess from the Baltimore Orioles. Orioles. Tyler O'Neill has hit 6 straight
wasn't
home runs
Taylor.
on opening day. It's an MLB record.
Almost had it.
You had the right idea.
Yep.
You were on the right track.
I originally had Albert Pujols.
I had Aaron Judge because why not?
Yeah.
Because why not?
And then
I
I
said
switched.
Cody
An
then I-
MLB
Bellinger.
record. It's actually impressive if you think about it. So if you want to bet anything and you want to sure bet next year opening day, bet Tyler O'Neill to hit a home run.
Dingers.
Hey fans, let me down below if I should get that Lexington and Concord point. Let me know down below.
This man still
Let me
wants
know.
that point, huh?
I need a point.
You need a point.
I
Have you gotten one since
I
the?
have one.
You have 1 point.
One.
United
Jess, how
Arab
many have
Emirates.
you gotten? Have you just
Yep.
gotten the baseball one and the PEMDAS one? Oh. Yeah, the baseball one. Yeah. Okay. All right. I'm keeping track of Jess.
So we got.
All right, gentlemen, we have 2 questions left. I'll give you them.
'Kay.
The first one, the 10th question is the Masters. It's the start of the Masters.
Oh my gosh.
And don't
doesn't
say,
love
oh
golf?
my
Who
gosh.
watches
Augusta
golf?
Who
National
watches golf?
is
Don't be
one of the
watches
I am
best
a
golf.
golf
backdrops.
enthusiast. Okay.
You tell me you don't want to hear Jim Nance say, hello, friends. Welcome
Come.
to Augusta National Golf Club for the Masters.
No,
Masters
I
is
don't.
one of my
It is-
favorite
it
things
is
all year.
sports
I don't.
heaven.
Listen,
It is
hey,
sports heaven.
hey,
We have to
so
go.
Oh,
we're
yeah.
going-
We're
here's
going
the
to
thing.
Augusta
It's
once.
like the hardest thing to get into.
Oh, it
Here's
is.
the
I
thing.
should make that a question. I should make because I actually know how you get into it. It's like
It's difficult.
it's hardest
Golf
thing
is
yeah.
like, in my opinion, and I'm not trying to call anybody out here, but this is my opinion. This might be a hot take, okay? Golf is like tennis, unless it is a Sunday afternoon,
So much
and
better.
I have
Hey,
absolutely nothing
Wimbledon.
in the world
Wimbledon is
going on.
another one of those that you got to.
And I'm not gonna just sit on the couch and watch golf. I have at least one other thing I could be doing than doing that. And I'm a man who doesn't do much. But I know for a fact I'm not gonna watch golf. That's just me. But shout out Arnold Palmer for a goated drink. He is my golf goat, okay? He's my golf goat. Tiger Woods kind of sucks compared to AP. That's just me.
Okay.
I mean, his body was
question
destroyed in
number
one
10.
2019.
After Asa dogging one of the greatest
sports.
tournaments and sporting events of the year.
It's a tournament.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it's a tournament.
Okay.
It's a 4-day tournament.
Who has won the most Masters tournaments? And if you can give me the number, you get an extra point. So
I know,
one,
like, 4
one for
golfers.
the person, 2 for the number. Hope you know your golf. You're right. Shout out Tiger Woods. That 2019 Masters was one of the greatest things I've ever seen.
Cam. We thinking AP on this one?
I forget the name of
Shout
the
out
guy.
ASL.
I think
Shout out
Logan
ASL.
knows it.
Even for
All
our
right.
deaf
This
listeners
might
out
not
here.
even be a
Jess,
golfer.
do you know it at all? No. Okay.
Hold on.
I know
give
it.
me 2
You do?
seconds here.
All right. We'll
Yeah.
go with you last then.
Okay.
You know,
I
This
even
is-
have
this is-
first and second place and the number.
Really?
I do.
Okay. All right. I like this. Cam, do you have any idea?
there's a name I'm thinking of, but it's going to be wrong.
Okay. 5,
We're talking the
4,
two greatest men
3,
to ever touch the clubs.
2, 1. Asa Criddlebaugh. What is the answer?
RIP to this legend. I just want all the fans out there to know that, like, mental health is a serious thing. So take care of yourself. And I love you with my whole heart. Shout out this legend. Gone too soon. Dick Trickle, legendary NASCAR driver. So
What?
good.
Dick Trickle?
Legendary Winston
should've
Cup
done a
NASCAR
NASCAR.
driver.
He won the most Masters?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
We need more NASCAR trivia.
Okay, how many did he have?
Dick, how many did he win?
Dick Trickle. Yeah, the NASCAR driver. How many Masters wins did he have?
I think he had a Hooters 500.
There hasn't even been 500 Masters. But
Dick
okay.
Trickle won the Hooters 500? Now
Yeah,
that's an
pretty
oxymoron
sure.
if I've ever heard
Pretty
it.
sure. I watch a lot of old-time Winston Cup races at home on YouTube because I love NASCAR.
You should live in Talladega, Alabama.
Nah, he's a Daytona guy.
He's a Daytona guy.
No. Nope. That's what there.
I've
That's
seen.
where.
I've
That's
seen
where
the
Dale
Daytona.
passed away.
Daytona is huge. All right,
Um,
Cam, let's keep going.
Yeah.
Cam,
Sorry.
I was gonna put something Nicholas, but it didn't hit the brain, so I got John Daly.
Oh man.
Give me John Daly.
So John Daly,
That's a great answer.
my favorite golfer of all time.
My favorite golfer is Jordan Spieth.
He's just so cool, and he was a damn good golfer. He still is.
He's a character. That's
He
for
is
sure.
a character,
When
and that's
he-
what makes him
See,
fun.
the thing about John Daly is he can hit the ball so far.
Yep.
But his issue is the short game. Plus, he's also either drunk or off 25 Diet
Sounds
Cokes
like Happy
or off,
Gilmore.
or off about 8 packs of cigarettes.
And,
He's- I don't think
it
he's
sounds
touched.
like Happy
I don't think he's
Gilmore.
touched the water since he was
All right,
like
Logan,
14.
what's the answer?
The answer, okay, so second place is my favorite golfer of all time. Yeah, I mean, he's a lot of people's favorite golfer of this generation. Tiger Woods, he had 5 Masters. He won his 5th in 2019.
Yep.
My favorite sports moment in my life that I ever got to
It was
witness.
so cool.
But number one, you're going to be upset because
you
you were so close.
You were so close.
I
Jack
know.
Nicklaus, 6 Masters, the greatest golfer, the top 2 golfers of all time.
He
Jack
teed off for
Nicklaus,
today.
Tiger
He
Woods.
teed off for the Masters today.
Oh,
Hey, fans,
That's
let me
nice.
know down below if you think I should get a point for the Battle of Lexington and Concord. And
Hey, Asa,
Dick
here, look,
Trickle.
I'll give you the
Let
point.
me know down below,
Here,
fans.
Here, Asa, I'll give you the point because you're still gonna finish second place.
Okay.
Oh, what is it? Shout out Happy Gilmore because Happy Gilmore and John Daly are damn near the same person.
They really are.
If you terrible in the short game, but man, they can crank it 250 on the green.
450. Ththey're going to make,
All
what's
right.
his name, Bryson DeChambeau look like nothing.
All right. This bonus question. So we've got through the 10. They asked for a bonus question, and I did it. I did it off my favorite sport, baseball. So this is a lot of people's. This is a lot of people's favorite player. Which player was known as the big unit? This is worth 3 points.
Oh, no.
It's actually my roommate's favorite player. I'm surprised.
That's not it.
I'm not good with nicknames, but I kind of have a guess. If
That's
it's the
not
big
it.
unit.
I'm just gonna take some
You get, and you get a
context
you
clues.
get like a side hug or something if you can give me the number as well. The number that player wore.
I don't know what he wore, so I'm sorry.
Jess, do you know it? Okay, Jess knows it.
The big unit.
The big unit.
It's got to be a big hitter then.
Got to be a big boy.
I think
Different
I got
from the big hurt. Who's
All right,
Frank,
let
who's
Logan
Frank
go
Thomas.
first.
Who wants to go first?
Logan does.
Logan.
I'll go first. I don't think I'm right, but I threw out this guess because I don't know if your roommate's also a Tigers fan, but he was a Tiger and Prince Fielder. I forgot his jersey number. I thought it was like in the 20s.
Yep.
I had 28, but I think it's 25. It's 28.
I put Prince as well because you said him earlier, so I was just using some context clues.
I said Prince Fielder as well.
All right, you all three are wrong.
Okay.
Jess, you could say it, but do you want to say it? It is Randy.
Oh,
Randy
it is Randy
Johnson.
Johnson. Oh, I'm so stupid.
The lefty
Dude,
number
it is Randy
51.
Johnson. I knew that.
Quick
Golly.
little nugget. A long time ago, him and Greg Maddux were supposed to pitch in a game.
Yep.
They both got
Yep.
scratched.
And you know who it was?
Clayton
it was,
Kershaw
no, dude, no. Let me.
and
Max Scherzer. God, when I say let me finish, I mean let me finish. I'm mad that he's up there and I didn't win the Rizzler Cup. Do you know how upset I
So-
am? I made that trophy and I haven't won it yet. Okay, let me down in the comments below if you think I should have gotten
Asa
a point.
Crittoball, the Buffalo Bills of the Ball and Beats podcast. Oh, so close every time. The winner of the Rizzlers Cup with 7 points. And, man, I'm glad he got that Masters question correct. I am proudly present to my co-host, who is doing push-ups. The Rizzler Cup with 7 points is Mr. Logan McCrory. Mr. Logan McCrory, congratulations.
I just pulled a Houston right there.
I just have to thank my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. Without him, all things are not possible.
Podium?
Just want to shout out everybody here in the B&B family, putting this beautiful, beautiful things to work here. I have to shout out Cam for his Duke Blue Devils doing so good in March Madness. I have to shout out Asa Criddle-Giat. That man travels to the moon and back for this place, you know what I'm saying? So, and I also have to shout out Spencer Contavious Caldwell Pope Gallup as well. Just excellent hosting. And our boy Albert, shout out. And Jess.
That has been the first edition of Spencer's Trivia. This guy sucks. Cleveland Eagles trash. Oh, man. You know, I just realized your team doesn't have a title either.
No.
Chargers. That's
they
tough.
don't.
I can't read it. What does it say?
Let me know in the comments. Oh, there we go.
Below if I should get a point. No, Asa, I gave you a point. The final score was Logan 7. Well, actually, since Jess got that right, Jess got 6. She only answered 3 questions, but she got 6 points. Shout out Jess. Asa had 4, and Cameron Vonenstock with a whopping 1 point. He showed up in big games just like his Blue Devils.
Hey, it's all right. If anyone knows ASL out there, you understand what was just said.
All right.
If anyone understands.
Thank
sign
you all
language.
for watching episode 135 of the Ball and Beats podcast. As always, we appreciate all of our fans at home. Make sure to check us out on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music, and wherever you get your podcasts. I'm
week.
Spencer Gallup. And yeah, actually, you're right. Next week, we got a big episode coming up. The NFL draft is coming near, and Ball and Beats is going to be hosting one of their own. So stick around and stay tuned. Gentlemen, as always, really good episode. Appreciate you guys, and thank you all again. We'll see you next week. Peace.